let me be very clear on this. Just as you've run a say that says, if you want to do something, you will get a way to do it. And if you do not want to do it, you will get an excuse. Personally, I'll feel this is an excuse not to appoint a deputy governor. Look at the history since then. The first time it came up, it was, I appoint Miguna Miguna. And I said on the same channel, Miguna is there on arrival in the county assembly. And the speaker then Beatrice Elachi returned Miguna's name. And then it happened again when I was on the same channel, the same Oyeyo said the governor has nominated 4 women. 4 women were nominated to this position. Up to date, we don't know whether they were taken for interview beyond the clouds or where. Up to date, the 4 women, we've never understood out of the 4 women. It means also there was no woman which was qualified for this position. And now it's an excuse. Now we have beautification program. This is something that we voted, that we've budgeted on the environment sector, that beautification of Nairobi should take place. The narrative that always that the governor spends his money, I don't get it from where. Because I don't believe there's one single individual in this country who can take charge of the entire beautification program of a capital city from his personal account. Unless Oyeyo and the elements can try to teach us where this money comes from.
But don't you think, Honorable Mwatok, don't you think that as members of the County Assembly of Nairobi, you have also failed the governor because he's depending on your support?
That's why we are saying, Brenda, as Assembly, we've done appropriation of 31.8 billion shillings, including the beautification program. The narrative that is being peddled about by the elements of the Oyeyo's type, that, oh, we are doing a beautification program, Nairobians are comfortable. We are saying, yes, a governor has to perform. And that's why as an assembly yesterday, we approved a finance bill, how the government can collect money, revenue from residents, to assist the governor on service delivery. So saying that there are some disgruntled MCs, honestly, that's far-fetched. By a member who does not understand even the role of the assembly. All
right. And Oyeyo, if I may bring you into this conversation, let me bring in Mr. Oyeyo to this conversation, even as he responds to your statement. You say that Nairobians are satisfied with the leadership of the governor. Let's talk about the decision that was made to ban Matatu operators from accessing the CBD. Yes, we understand it's a plan of decongesting Nairobi city. But don't you think that a clear plan was supposed to be put in place before that decision was made? Then number 2, we have a lot of portals in Nairobi County. Number 3, there's so many hawkers who are hawking within the CBD.
Well, I think you make a very legitimate point when you talk about a plan. And indeed, there was a plan. What happened is some stakeholders in the entire plan actually decided to pull out. There was an agreement among, of course, all the stakeholders, including the Matatu guys. But, you know, in the last minute, they pulled out. There was an agreement that they had to actually encourage the guys to be using Matatus from the agreed areas, drop-off points like Ngara and Mudhurwa. But, you know, the material day, because of pressure and cries from Nairobians, they decided to actually pull out and begin heaping, you know, blame on the governor. And obviously, mistakes get made everywhere, not just in governance, everywhere. And once in a while, we make mistakes, of course, as well, and we admit that. So at the end of the day, the plan to ban Matatus from coming to the CBD was not a Nairobi County government decision alone. It's part of the larger, a program under the Urban Renewal, initiative to make Nairobi a clean and better city for us all. And at the end of the day, it's going to happen, and we expect, of course, going forward, to have all the stakeholders not pulling out when things get tough, but to stay in there and show Nairobi the right thing to do. Of course, we were able to show that a Nairobi that does not have Matatus is, of course, the kind of Nairobi we want, and all the hitches will be, dealt with going forward. Political opportunists and crybabies like him will always be there, and we'll deal with them, of course, in the sands of time. Nairobians want a city that does not have congestion. Nairobians want a city that has fresh air. And it's only through, sending Matatus to places where they can pick passengers instead of coming to town that we can be able to achieve that kind of plan.
So according to you, Mr. Oyeyo, has the governor fulfilled his promise of 100 days of development? Of
course, if you look at the accomplishments he was able to, achieve in the first 100 days, it was done up to date, accordingly. He talked about a city that does not have garbage. That was done in the first 100 days. We talked about beautification. During the first 100 days, we did that. We talked about quick supply of water as we got, long-term measures. That was done. So if you assess what we did in the first 100 days, you can say, yes, we actually achieved that. Again,
but then when you talk about 100 days, you're talking about beautification. Of course, beautification is very important to make Nairobi look like that, the city under the sun, the clean city that we want. But that isn't that not the priority of so many Kenyans? Because here we are, and it's good that both of you were here when we were beginning this bulletin. We're talking about demolition exercise that's happening in Ngong Road. Nairobi Governor Mike Mbuvi Sonko comes out and says, I don't know the person who gave out that demolition notice that was put there. I'd like to start with Honorable Imotok to respond to that.
Brenda, let me tell you, every administration fails because of lack of honesty. And we should be honest with our governor. When challenges are there, let's tell the governors are there. Let's not lie to a king that you are not naked while the king is naked. Because when you talk about the issue of demolitions in Nairobi, Oyeye has just spoken about urban renewal. It's not about urban renewal. He does not even understand what he's talking about. The governor is the co-chair of the regeneration program in Nairobi. And the co-chair, the reason as to why in the wisdom of the president that the governor was to be the co-chair of this committee was purposely for the interest of his residents. So when a demolition is taking place in the county government of Nairobi, without inspectorate head knowing, without briefing the governor, there's a disconnect somewhere. So what you're saying, let's be honest with the governor himself, that there are challenges that we must face with honesty. Look at the Matatu menace. And I said it on TV, that is a problem. This county government has never come out with any bill, traffic management bill. The Congestion Act in the county government of Nairobi, it's not been brought. It's a proclamation. When you say that you are busybodies, maybe he doesn't understand the meaning of a busybodies. When you talk about, can you stop this madness and bring a bill that will encompass public participation to all Kenyans, to all Nairobians? We want to do a decongestion of the city. What have we talked with the Matatu people? What are the people saying on the streets? We do what's called a public participation. That when we bring before the county assembly, it becomes a law. You don't just wake up in the morning and say, a following day, Matatus are not there. Look at what happened now, Brenda. There are more small vehicles than Matatus.
All right.
So what you're saying here, Oyeye and the advocates, who are just advising governor contra the reality on the ground,
okay,
it's wrong. Please,
okay,
tell the king the truth.
Okay, gentlemen, I need to bring this conversation to an end because we have to continue updating our views with the